Okay, we're live. As usual, gotta wait for Instagram. Okay, and we're live on Instagram. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary week. So today, of course, y'all know we got to get into the BA drama. Also, we're gonna go ahead and preview quarterbacks. We also got an announcement on when training camp is gonna start, and uniquely, the Niners are having the rookies and the veterans report different times. Normally, they have them report the same day. So I found that kind of interesting myself personally. But before we get started today, as normal, y'all know we got to pay some bills. Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems. Need help getting new customers for your business? Let Power Brand Systems help you grow with their powerful tools. Visit powerbrandsystems.com/Niner Faithful Radio for more info. For the Faithful, by the Faithful, off-season sale is happening now. Save 20% on all For the Faithful, by the Faithful season 1 through 3 gear now through June 30th. Go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop to save. Follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok, and at Niner Faithful R on X. If you like our content and would like to support the show, consider leaving us a tip in our tip jar at NinerFaithfulRadio.us/tip jar. Join our exclusive membership community where you get exclusive NFR content not available anywhere else. Join our exclusive chat, 20% off of all non-sale For the Faithful, by the Faithful gear, and much more. Visit portal.ninerfaithfulradio.us/login to join. All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor.
You're tuned into Niner Faithful Radio, the show hosted for the faithful, by the faithful, brought to you by Power Brand Systems.
My bad, y'all. I had no idea what the hell just happened. That was so weird. So I don't even know what everybody heard or didn't hear, but basically, I know pretty much everybody has seen the Ayuk videos. My initial thought was, is he legitimately about to get traded? And then once I started thinking about it a little more, and I don't want to say my emotions because I wasn't necessarily emotional, but once I calmed down and started thinking, Bebop was cracking with you, bruh. Once I started to think about it, I was like, in what world did the Niners tell Brandon Ayuk, we don't want you back? Now, maybe at the price he's asking for? Sure. All right. I can see there is definitely a price where the Niners say, hey, look, we can't afford to keep you. If you find somebody willing to pay you that much, God bless you. We'll go ahead and work out a trade. We have to be at least prepared for that to be a scenario. Does it change? That's what I was thinking, bro. The more I thought about it. So that just has to be in the back of our mind that BA might not be a Niner. Now, my thing about it is if he was going to get traded this year, I mean, yeah, that's about what the going rate is. I went on air saying about 28 to 30 million. That's what I expect the BA to be getting. Or at least what he's asking for. I know that reports are the Niners have an offer for 26 mil on the table. I'd be curious to see, because I don't think it's the per year that's holding up this contract. I think it's the guaranteed money, because BA probably wants closer to Justin Jefferson, 88.5 million. And the Niners are like, yeah, we're not giving you more than Nick Bosa fully guaranteed on this deal. And you know what? I don't blame him. Do I love BA? Yeah. Is he our best receiver? Yeah. Does he deserve to make more on his contract guaranteed than Nick Bosa? No. I'm sorry. Love BA. But my personal opinion, and then I'll kind of give you how I think Kyle's thinking of it, it's, and I hate to say this, but, and there is the asterisk of, we also were without Trent, but we all saw when Debo missed those games, BA had the opportunity and the offense struggled. What was it? I believe it was three straight games of 17 points. That's something that you have to keep in your mind. We all know Debo misses games. Well, what's happened to the offense when Debo misses games? Has it thrived? Has BA stepped up? And fine, targets, all those things, but and you do have to look at the quarterback. It was clear that Jimmy and BA just never really got on the same page as he was with Debo and Kittlecorn. So, and I think that's more the type of quarterback that Jimmy was than, them having beef or something like that. So I believe if he was going to get traded this year, he'd have been traded in the draft. I know Matt Mayoko came out and said that if the Niners didn't want Brandon Ayuk here, he'd be gone already. Were there offers made during the draft? Yes. I fully believe the Niners were seeing what's out there, or teams were calling the Niners in, to see what it would take to acquire Brandon Ayuk's services for the Niners to trade away, trade BA. And I don't think the Niners thought they got anything that was worth their time. But I do believe offers were made. I fully believe that teams were letting the Niners know what they were willing to trade for BA. Because to me, if Brandon Ayuk gets traded, you have to question whether whether the team believes this is a Super Bowl roster. I do not understand how we remain a Super Bowl contender this year while trading Brandon Ayuk. Now, the offseason, that's a different ball game. But as of right now, until mid-February, March, somewhere around my birthday, between Valentine's Day and my birthday, I would think. Until that period, I do not see how we become a better football team by trading Brandon Ayuk for a player, whether it's players or draft picks. That's like player is a little different, but the draft picks, I do not see how we become a better football team by trading our best receiver for a player that's not even going to be on the roster until next April. So I think ultimately, let's just say this does come out to a stalemate. Ultimately, I think BA plays on the 5th-year option. I do. If we can believe the reports where there's been stolen contract and they're nowhere close to getting a deal done, which you know what John Lynch is saying, deadline spur action. But I fully see BA playing on the 5th-year option this year. And if he wants to pout and sit out, I know he has to play a certain amount of games or he'll miss an accrued season, and then that gets into even different subject. Look, we all know sitting out camp last year affected Nick Bosa. It just did. We can get into whether it was selfish of him. I'm not interested in that conversation. I don't see how BA misses camp, possibly games, and comes back and is a productive receiver. So you would ask me, okay, T, what's your deadline? I would say pads. I would say once we put pads on, I think things should be scrapped. If he ain't in here, the day before pads come on, so he can practice first official day of pads, I would basically say, okay, we're clearly at a stalemate. Let's get you in here. What's up, Terradome? How you doing, brother? All right, brother. Let's get you in here. We'll play out the 5th-year option, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the year as far as whether we tag and trade him, pay him on the franchise tag for a couple of years. But if Brandon Ayuk isn't in training camp, that's an issue. I think it was a little different with Nick Bosa because there was not a world that existed where the Niners weren't going to get a contract done with Nick Bosa. I think we could all see that now in hindsight, or they wouldn't have caved. Simple as that. If the Niners were willing to go and exist in the world without one Nicholas John Bosa, they wouldn't have caved on the contract. I think Kyle is going to say with the 2 receivers we drafted, CMC, George Kittle, and Debo, and then you sprinkle in Juice, Elijah Mitchell, Chris Conley, sprinkle in some other receivers. I see Kyle thinking he could put together a functional offense. I don't think that the Niners believe there's a world that our defense is functional without Nick Bosa. I believe Kyle believes he can make a functioning offense without BA. Now, is that a Super Bowl winning offense? Is that taking it into overtime, which we really shouldn't have, but taking it into overtime in the Super Bowl offense, number 1 offense in the league? No. Please, somebody tell me if you disagree with me. Well, that's dope that you got permission from Chuck D. that actually pretty dope that you were able to get permission from him, bro. Just please, if somebody is disagreeing with me and thinks that we could be a Super Bowl caliber offense without Brandon Ayuk, argue your point in the comments. I'm fully willing to listen to anybody's argument on why we are not a Super Bowl, how we are a Super Bowl caliber offense without BA. I'm willing to listen to that argument. I don't believe that there is one. So, do I think a deal gets done? I don't know. I mean, I don't see the Niners caving into BA. I don't see them saying, yeah, BA, here's 30, 31, $32 million a year with 70 million guaranteed. Okay, fine. Debo, who is going to miss some games, so what are you going to do without Debo? CMC, I'm willing to hear that. I'm willing to say, hey, look, you guys CMC. Kittle, then why didn't he do it when Debo missed time last year? I forgot about JJ. I love Juwan. Okay, Kenny, let me ask you this. Bet your last dollar. Are you betting that Debo misses games or did Debo plays 17 plus games this year? And you know what? That is true. That is true. And they say that, a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. That is true. I will give you that. I think Kittle's going to have a resurgence because I felt that, not statistically, but just play-wise until he started getting hurt towards the end of the year. I thought Kittle had one of his best seasons last year. I believe last year was a career high in touchdowns. So, look, I'm not willing if pay BA or Brock. I'm sorry. I'm saying goodbye to BA. But I am curious to see. And as far as Mitchell, cool. Yeah, for the 3 games he's going to play before he gets hurt. And Pearsall, Kyle needs to use. Yeah, but he's not going to, Kenny. Kyle's not going to use the way George Kittle's never going to get used like Travis Kelce because basically Travis Kelce is a receiver that plays on the line. George Kittle is too essential into the run blocking scheme and pass blocking scheme for him to get as many targets and on all that as Travis Kelce. So everything to me is about what it takes to sign Brock next year. So that means we got to say goodbye to BA. That's fine. I remember, I'm not going to lie to y'all. My idea has always been that Debo was going to be gone next year. Look, I love Debo. I'm Mr. Tuck Your Chain. I want all that. But I said it. The best thing about Debo's contract when he signed it is it was for 3 years. And that we had an out. That was the best thing because Debo's play style is going to catch up to him. And I hate to say that. What's up, David? How you doing, baby? Hold on. Let me go ahead and get you, bruh. Go ahead and find it. I moved it around.
Sorry ass man. So long.
What's up, brother? Yeah, so I find it very difficult. That's what I'm saying. But if what's cracking, Jason? But if we trade BA next year, that puts a wrench in that. I don't see a universe that exists where we trade BA and Debo. That's hard to ask. The thing I love most, yes, sir. All day, every day. I love the fact that we can see Ricky Pearsall. We can see Ricky Pearsall in camp at a year before we have to make decisions, and to see can Ricky Pearsall be an effective player. I don't ever think he's going to be a superstar. Maybe. So do we cave to BA because we have Brock? Because you can't deny it. You can't deny the chemistry between Brock and BA last year. And so I'm a little concerned because I believe the worst thing the Niners could do for Brock's development is to get rid of a receiver that he has shown trust and chemistry with. So to me, there's no way that BA does not play on the Niners this year. Now, next year, we could get into some discussions. But as I see it right now, it would be malpractice. It would be malpractice to trade Brandon Ayuk for a draft pick. Because I don't see us trading for another receiver. I'm over Danny Grant. I might be willing to see something from Ronnie Bell. I'm definitely. Oh, matter of fact, I just totally buried it. Rookies are going to report the 16th of July, and vets are going to report the 23rd. We'll go ahead. I wonder if that's what the stickler is, David. You know? Yeah. Well, Jason told y'all. I was just saying you were on assignment, bro. So, what was I going to do? Yeah, so anyway, I saw a potential 5 or 6 year deal. I would say 4. And so that video, the more I watched it, the more it seemed like staged. BA's trolling, as Bebop said. Somehow that's supposed to make the Niners cave. I don't know how that really makes the Niners cave by putting out a video saying that they said they don't want him back. Let's regardless of what this all ends up turning out to be, there is not in the world where the Niners came to BA and said, we don't want you back. So that's where we stand with BA. I'd be very curious to see if he reports that the 23rd. We will have a show for you on that day. So we'll be able to go over some press conferences, do all that type of stuff, and give you our training camp, final training camp preview, maybe give you some 53-man roster predictions. I'm going to talk to the big man and see what we can do over that. Okay, that's a trade I'm willing to listen to. But are the Niners going to make that trade, David? Are the Niners going to make that trade? So moving on, I just want to give a little bit into quarterbacks. We won't have a 1,000,000-hour long show today. Your boy's got some stuff he's got to do. But Real quick, from what I heard of training camp, Brock goes down, we're fucked. Apparently, Brendan Allen looked bad. Joshua Dobbs didn't look any better. Now, I am curious to see Dobbs because was he what we saw those few weeks where he looked good? And it's like, okay, okay. Now, let's be real. If Brock went down for a game or two, I think we could survive. I think he could survive. I think we can survive. I think Kyle can put down no, because Kyle doesn't value. Yep. And that's exactly why. That's exactly why the Niners would not take that trade. So what concerns me about the backup quarterback is that some tape gets out there, or we're going to Buffalo and Green Bay, or that stretch. I mean, I'm with you on that one. Tanner Manokai look any good? I am really excited to see backups look like, just because you never know. The number 2 quarterback position it's a little worrisome, but guess what? I mean, welcome to being a good football team. You think if Joshua Allen goes down, that the Bills aren't fucked? You think Herbert goes down, the Chargers aren't fucked? You think Patrick Mahomes go down, the Chiefs aren't fucked? I mean, this is pretty much what happens when you have a franchise quarterback. You don't really stock your quarterback room the greatest, especially when you're loading up to give him a big contract. Now, as far as Brock's concerned, I don't know how y'all feel, but can Brock have a better season this year and I don't mean numbers, because it's really hard, because I doubt, let's be real, I highly doubt Brock goes out and beats his own franchise record for passing yards this year. There's a reason why that record stood so long. Now, we didn't necessarily have the world's greatest quarterbacks since Jeff Garcia, but players just better and throw for over 4,000 yards. Brock might have fewer touchdowns, but you know what I'm looking for? And when I say I have a better season, just watching back the the highlights of the NFC Championship game, Brock throws across his body a lot. You looked was it the touchdown against Pittsburgh, or was it the touchdown in Washington that he threw across his body to BA? I believe it was the one in Washington. That corner's just a little bit better, or bites on the route a little bit faster. That's a pick. Another thing I'm actually a little bit concerned about, and when I say concerned, in no way do I think Brock Purdy's not our franchise quarterback. I have zero doubts in my mind. Now, when I say franchise quarterback, what do I mean? Do I mean that he's the best quarterback in the NFL? No. What I mean is that the Niners can't go out and get better. I do not believe a quarterback upgrade is available for the Niners either this year or next year, or in the relative future. A quarterback that would be an upgrade from Brock ain't getting traded. He's not becoming a free agent. And you really think Kyle wants to go in the draft and develop another quarterback just to hope that he could turn out and be Brock? If you're never going to pay your quarterback, then you're never going to have stability. Brock plays like my UDFA 18-year-old created Madden player. It's just because we were all wrapped up in it last year. Brock Mania, Brock Star. And I legitimately think the Niners have found a quarterback for the next decade. I do believe Brock's going to be here for a while. But when I stand back and I take off my Niner hat, I say, okay, where can my quarterback get better? Because believe it or not, he can get better. And I just think he throws across his body too much. I think one of the things is he needs better presence on when to take off, when to throw it away, or when to take off, when to try to extend the play to, or when to take a sack or throw it away and live for another down. I'm just, as teams start to play him more and more and get used to his tendencies, I feel like throwing across the body, the running around like playground football, that's just going to start to catch up to him. Trying to create the greatest show on turf, on grass. I'm really, really, really curious to see how much we throw the ball, because that's going to tell me a lot on how much they really, truly believe in Brock. If Brock's coming out slanging it 30 times a game, I'm not necessarily saying that's the greatest show on turf, but that's not the Niner offense we've seen with Jimmy. So, but yeah, I do definitely see some more 11 personnel, 3 receiver sets this year. I think Brock's going to slang it a little bit. They did say they're going to take some of the load off CMC, but the problem is, and Kyle brought this up, you could call 6 straight pass plays. None of them were CMC's the intended target. And just by the way the defense unfolds or the play unfolds, he could get 6 straight targets. And none of them were planned to go with him. And with CMC being just as much of a threat catching the ball as he is running the ball, that's amazing. That's why we love him. That's why he's Offensive Player of the Year. One of the non-best draft carries in franchise history. But that is a concern because CMC was not right in the Super Bowl. My number one thing that I thought that I was hanging my hat on going into the Super Bowl is the Niners aren't the Ravens. We're not going to stop running the ball. And lo and behold, we stopped running the ball. And I think part of that had to do with CMC not being right. Now, part of that, part of that, you go out and you draft Isaac Guerendo. You go ahead and you sign Cody Schrader as a undrafted free agent. You got J.P. Mason. You got Elijah Mitchell. I'm really, truly curious to see if Kyle really does give some of these other running backs some run. And, maybe Kyle has somebody designated to keep CMC's helmet away from him. Like the designated CMC helmet carrier so that he could take some plays off. Because I was thinking about this when he signed his contract. I mostly think to the Cardinals game. Because I had never seen a player score 4 touchdowns. I don't think I ever seen one player score 4 touchdowns in a game live. I was there for Raheem's 3. But I was never there for 4. Yeah, I did say Ricky Schrader. I meant Cody Schrader. So, I was there. I started the MVP chant. Silver spoons. But then I step back and I'm like, was touchdown 3 and 4 really necessary? Did CMC really have to get those carries? Now, is that the reason why he was worn out, in February? No, it wasn't because 2 carries in October. But over the course of games, Al Bundy. Polk High School, baby. Over the course of, but if you add up an extra 4 carries over the course of 17 weeks, that's extra 4 times 17, that's 3468. I believe. I'm paying the math budget this week. Yeah, 68. That's an extra 68 carries. So what? CMC had how many carries last year? Stats. Because I don't think we can take away his targets in the passing game. Just because of just because, 272 running attempts last year. So if you take that away, 272 minus 68, that's 204. Yeah, 204 rushing attempts versus 272. No, he's not going to. CMC's not going to say shit if he's hurt. So if you could take away 4 carries away from CMC a game, I think that makes a significant difference. A significant. And we can get the 1 seed. I mean, Kenny, I'm going to be real with you. I think CMC is healthy in the Super Bowl. I think we blow him out. They might have made a run towards the end, when Dre got hurt and everything like that. But if CMC's healthy, I think we blow him out. I don't even think that bowl game's relatively close. It's going to be one of those games that maybe was like a 14 or a 17-point game. But when you watch the game, you're like, yeah, the score doesn't dictate how much we whooped their ass. Like we're getting 6 yards a pop. Brock's throwing for 12 yards a pop. Yeah, just those games where you're like, yeah, the score doesn't show up, but we whooped that ass, baby. I really think if CMC's healthy, that's how the Super Bowl is. Like a 31-17, 31-20 type of game. Where it's like, bro, we whooped their ass by more than 11 points. It's just, we drained the clock too much or something like that. But especially what I don't understand is why we did not see JP Mason more in the fourth quarter. We've seen it in the playoff. People seem to forget that long-ass drive against the Cry Girls in 2022, the wild card round, I want to say. In 2022, that long-ass drive into the third quarter. Most of that drive was put together by JP Mason. People forget that. JP Mason showed that he can drain the clock out, take the air out of the football. I don't understand why that's not happening more. I don't know if Kyle's traumatized by Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl and lightweight that Lions game. I ain't gonna lie, we were up, I think it was 17, and then they ended up trying to onside kick, and we're only 7 points down. So I don't know if Kyle's just so traumatized by blowing leads or something, but there's no way if we're up by multiple scores in the fourth quarter, like I'm going to personally take CMC's helmet and then get it autographed. But I'm not saying put people in bubble wrap. I understand that you have to get to the playoffs. We can't win it. We can't win the NFC. We can't win the division in June. We can't win the conference in July. But this football team has played 60 football games. 60 football games in the last 3 years. That's almost, this team in just playoffs alone has had over half a season of extra games. I'm nervous about that just off the GP of that catching up to the team. But when you also talk about that on top of the wear or tear of another season, yeah, I'm all for giving CMC less carries. What you figure he played in how many games last year? It's not gonna hold on. Let me see real quick. See if it'll give me his game total. He played. Oh, he played every game last year. Yeah. So over 17 games. Let me see, 272. Let me go ahead and actually do the math real quick. I know this is helpful. So I said 204 divided by 17. That's 12 carries a game. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie. We're not giving CMC 12 carries a game. Never mind. Yeah, CMC is gonna get more than. Let me see. What's 20? What's 20 carries a game? I know that's less than 300. 20 times 17, right? Should be less than 300. Well, that's 340. Let me see. What about 15 carries for 17 games? That's 255. I like that a lot more. So you give him on average 15 carries a game. Figure he's going to touch the ball 5 to 10 times in the passing game. Yeah, I like that. I'm okay with CMC getting 255 carries. I'd ideally like it a little less. Maybe we're blowing some teams out. But overall, 20 touches a game, 12 to 15 carries. I think that's right about where CMC is. Because I think Brock, if we, this episode being the quarterback episode, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up after this little point. I think what can make the quarterback room the best it can is having CMC healthy the longest he can be this year. I don't think it's no secret that CMC has one of the best seasons by a running back in Niner history. I mean, you're talking about Frank and probably Frank Gore and Rodgers 1,000. A game by a year by Frank Gore when he set the all-time rushing record by the Niners, and Roger Craig's 1,000 is about the only other seasons that come to my mind that a running back has had a better year in Niner history. I mean, I'd have to really research that to make that a factual state, to say that's a factual statement. But off the top of my head, I mean, Frank Gore all-time Niner rushing record, and Roger Craig's 1,000 is about the only year better from a running back that I think we could have had in franchise history. I mean, CMC was, I had never seen some shit like that, y'all. All right. But it feels great. How great does it feel, faithful? Meister fam. CMC had 200 all-purpose yards this year. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Bebop. One of the greatest seasons in Niner team history. It just feels so good that nobody serious has had any conversations about another quarterback being our starter this year. I mean, shit, I remember the year we signed Jimmy. The year after the Super Bowl. It never stopped to just step back and not have to turn on Facebook or listen to a podcast or listen to something on ESPN and having somebody talk about another Niner quarterback controversy and how we're trading for Deshaun Watson or just none of that this offseason. Just to, Kyle sounded pumped that he was like, I get my quarterback. I have a quarterback that I want and that I get for the full offseason. At this point in time, Brock, I believe, was still throwing with the towel. and just goes out and has one of the best seasons for a Niner quarterback in team history. Could y'all imagine what this man can do when he has a full offseason to work with the receivers, work with the running backs, to work with Kyle, to work with Brian Greasy, Chris Forster, to work with the whole Niner coaching staff on building an offense that Brock functions best in? The Niners having gone through a season with him to know the ups and downs and knowing how to take care of him better. Fine. See, I still don't think that, because I believe if you're playing the Niners, you tell yourself the number one person you say you have to stop when you're playing the Niners is Debo and CMC. Love BA, but I do agree with you. I think that, well, what do you mean by numbers lagging? Because BA's never had godly numbers. What I think we value BA is because he could not do shit for games, and then all of a sudden, what's up, Steve-O? All of a sudden he could have a 10 catch game after having a 1 catch, 2 catch, So, look, if the Niners feel there's any type of, slacking off that's going to happen, maybe that's another one. See, that's what I agree. That's what I think. I think you're going to allow Ricky Pearsall to be on one-on-one coverage against these slot corners who are, shifty, but he's bigger than. I mean, I want to get into camp before I start making, proclamations about what kind of year Ricky Pearsall is going to have. I want to see him in some pads when he's getting some press coverage and people are getting physical with him. But yeah, I mean, that's coaching 101. And that's what makes great players great, is that you do that and they still score. That's why Jerry, players like Jerry are the GOAT. You don't think that people do? Hey, they're going to throw it to number 80. And they do that. And they did everything they could to stop it and still couldn't stop it. All right, y'all. Well, it has been a great discussion. I'll go ahead and I'll talk to Jason here. Don't get me started on Kobe, bro. I hope to only contain. Man, one of my most saddest moments of my life is I remember going to my foster brother's room to watch Jerry give the press conference when he announced his retirement. And right then it hit me. And I started to tear up a little bit because I'd always, y'all got to understand, Jerry was drafted the year before I was born. So I had not, before he retired, I had not existed in the NFL without Jerry Rice. And so I remember thinking to myself, damn, bro, one day I'm going to have kids, and those kids are going to never know what it's like to watch number 80 on the field. And I remember when Kobe died, I was like, I think what happens, it helps people's legends not fade, is when they're around. You can talk, you see them on ESPN. That's why Randy Moss, people still know Randy Moss. People who are talking about Randy Moss is better than Jerry weren't even alive when either one of them were playing, but they just know because they see Randy Moss on TV. Yep. Yeah, very few people don't know Jerry couldn't catch the flu when he first came out here and still won Rookie of the Year. So that was one of my sad things with Kobe, is that, people are going to forget Kobe. And that made me really sad, because even though I was a bigger Shaq fan, Shaq is my all-time favorite Laker. It's Shaq Daddy, baby. But Kobe is the greatest Laker to ever play. I love Magic. but I'm sorry. Like, give me number 8, give me number 24 all day, every day. Like I tell everybody, if I was in charge of any type of all-time draft, for the Niners, I'm always taking Jerry Rice with my first pick. No questions asked. Like we got plenty of quarterbacks I could draft that will get Jerry the ball. If I did the same thing for all-time Laker draft, I'm taking, I ain't gonna lie, I might take Shaq number 1. I need to take Shaq or Kobe number 1. But all right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. We're going to go ahead and see you next week. We'll start to break down the defense. And we only got a couple more weeks until we're up into training camp, baby. What we got, I believe it's 3 more shows. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got 3 more shows to do. And then we're going to do a rookie training camp review. And then we're right into training camp with our vet training camp preview. Can't wait, baby. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. I shall see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners, baby. Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
Niner Faithful Radio, the show hosted for the faithful, 5 to 6, brought to you by Power Brand
See ya.